question today. Great question. Do we really exist? An amazing question and a good topic. So last night I'm thinking about it.
Well, therefore you are.
So, well, that's the first thing I was thinking. I must. If I think, therefore I must be. Well, I was sitting around with my dogs. My dogs and I are sitting around listening to some Jerry Garcia, and I was just finishing up my my medicine. I got a script, from Colorado, my medicine that I take for that. I told you about that middle school kickball injury that I have. Mm-hmm. So for that, I take my medicine, and I was out there finishing it, and I got the answers. I figured everything about existence. My dogs were talking, I was talking. We figured it out. I think maybe life, where our universe is on the head of a pin, and then inside that, maybe there's another universe around it. I had it all figured out. Then I ate 2 bags of Doritos, went to bed, woke up and forgot everything. So I have no idea what happened. I was so clear last night, so I figured I'm out. You're pretty much going to have to explain it today.
Well, the question is, does Jerry Garcia exist?
I'm not sure. Last night, he was there.
He was there. So the question really is, was Jerry there, or was it a hologram?
That's a good question. That's a real good question.
Right? And how do I know?
My head hurt after thinking about it.
Am I here?
I'm not sure.
Here? Is this just a hologram?
I'm pretty sure I'm here. That's all I know.
How do you know?
I'm just guessing. I watched last week's film. I was there.
So what if I told you, let me ask you another question.
All right.
I know you seem like a religion. Do you believe in God?
I believe in God.
Believe in God. Okay. Now, in the Torah, for example, it says, in the 10 Commandments, you should keep the Sabbath.
Yes.
There is a whole big tractate in the Talmud about keeping the Sabbath. All these details, minutiae, this and that, really, really complex. Honor your parents. Passages and passages in the Talmud. What's considered honoring your parents? What's not? Murder. Oh, don't murder. Don't covet. Oh, there's tons and laws and rabbinical laws. Right. Not coveting your wife. You have to stay separate. Can't be alone in a room. You can't even be alone in a room together with a woman whom you're not married to.
They're not being alone in a room with me anyway, so it's not happening. But
so all this stuff, there's one thing that they don't have too much to talk about in the Talmud.
What's that?
Do you believe in God?
I do believe in God.
You do believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me describe what believing in God means.
Okay.
Okay? If you believe in God, as Maimonides says, God is the only true existence. Because of God, all other existence exists.
Okay.
If God didn't exist, nothing would exist. If God exists, it is possible that nothing else exists, and God would still exist. But we were all gone.
And God would still be here, and we would not.
God would still be here. Right? But if there was no God, there's no us, there's no nothing.
Okay.
And therefore everything that's in the heavens and the earth and everything in between is here because God so wills it. Now, by the way, when did God will it?
Well, in Genesis, he willed it in Genesis. He said, "Let there be light," and he willed, and he spoke us into creation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see there are lights here.
Yeah.
I see there's a computer here. Okay. You turned on the computer. Okay, it's been on ever since then.
Right.
Okay. Is it the same electricity that was in that computer when you turned it on?
Absolutely not, no.
If I were to trip over the cord?
It would go off.
Off.
Right.
What would happen if it went off? Like the images on the screen. Like if someone were to trip over the computer, your computer cord right now, would Jeff and I fall onto the table?
Good question. In other words, would we never have existed? Is that what you're trying to say? Or
we're
gone.
Gone. We're just gone.
That's it?
We're gone. It's not like we're even dead. Like we would just be gone. And what keeps us going? The electricity that's there.
Yep.
Now, is it the same electricity? Is it the same image that was there a second ago that's there now?
I guess it's not, no.
It is absolutely not.
No.
Every single second, nanosecond, I would say even smaller, but I don't know anything smaller than nanoseconds. Like every single second, there is new electricity, which causes the computer to put a new image of us up on the screen.
Wow. I might need to get some more of that script. This is getting intense. Okay.
Okay. This is saying, now, so I'm saying, you're so sure you exist, and what keeps us going? God is the energy and His will to keep us alive. If God says, I'm here, I'm here. God continues to say, I'm here, I'm here. When God says, I'm not here, it's not like I'm even going to die.
Just not here.
Gone, right? If God says, I'm not here, I'm gone. I just cease to exist. He doesn't have to make me gone. He just has to stop. Just like pulling out the cord.
Stop, yeah. Stop
Like
creating.
Pulling out the electric cord doesn't kill the image. It just ceases.
It's not
right?
there, right.
If God says both of us cease, we both cease. If he says Atlanta ceases, it's just gone. In the world, it's gone. So therefore, God continually, through his existence, provides existence for you and I. Every single split second.
Every single split second, we are being created.
That's right. And this is actually, for those that say their daily morning prayers, this is a line in the morning prayers. Every morning we say, Hamachadesh, God creates anew, B'chol Yom, every day, Tamid, constantly. He creates new every day, constantly, Masa Breshis, the act of creation. Which means God created the world, and he created the world, he created the world, created the world. And he's, God put me here, put me here, put me here. Now there's an interesting thing, which kind of blows your mind. When he recreates me, like the new me, which is not the same me as a minute ago,
right?
He creates me with a memory. He changes me every time he creates.
He does.
Because he creates me with a memory of
that last nanosecond.
The other guy.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Right?
And the memory of the other guy, and the other guy, and the other guy, which happens to be very deceptive, because therefore I tend to think that he didn't just create me. I'm the same guy that was, I'm the guy that rode my tricycle down the driveway.
Right.
Same guy, right? But no. Different creation, just created with that memory. Now, that's what it means if you believe in God.
That's intense.
Right. So when I say you believe in God, yeah, I believe in God. You weren't thinking of that, were you?
I am now.
Okay. So, when God opens up the Ten Commandments and he says, I am Lord your God, he says, the fact that you exist is because I exist. And if I don't exist, there is no one. And you now have found the source of your existence.
Wow.
Now, this is, to many people, very unsettling.
I can see how it could be.
Because people start to wonder, like,
well, if God took a 1 second break here, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, And what if you don't believe in God?
That's true. How are you here if you don't believe in God?
How am I here?
Yeah.
So you know what people do? So they say, okay, I don't believe in God. How do I know I'm here? What makes me have existence? So people start looking around to have existence. So what do some people do to have existence? So for some people, they need to be able to dedicate their lives to have a few moments where they can jump around in the confetti and say,
yeah, well, we're number one. Yeah, we want. That's true. That's true.
Right? And have 80,000 people plus an audience of 160 million or something like that.
Right.
And as well as the servicemen overseas. Yes, you exist.
That's true.
How do I know I exist? Because everyone says they. Something made them happy.
Right. Must have been me.
Must have been me.
Yeah.
It must have been that catch. It must have been that run. It must have been me, right? So I made them happy. Therefore, I exist. It makes me feel really good. Until, of course, the guy gets home, and his wife says, "Can't you pick up your socks?"
Right. You can catch a ball in the end zone, but you can't pick your socks up.
Which then he gets outraged because he thinks, like, she's telling me I don't even exist because I can't even pick my socks up. So he's got one or two choices. He's got to stop and take a look at himself, or he could beat her to a pulp. Half the time they beat him to a pulp.
Right. Or both.
Because she really called his whole existence. So what do you mean? 160 million people said I exist, and you're telling me I'm a nothing? And then he takes care of her. Okay? Now, some people do that. Some people try to find other ways. It's not fame. Some people, it's power, control.
Right.
It's a good way to show you exist.
Right.
Because I can make other people do And I can show that their only existence is through me.
Because I did it.
So, how many despots are there in the world? I was reading about this guy, Robert Mugabe, in Zimbabwe.
He's a nice guy.
88 years old. So I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, Bob, what are you hanging on for? Like, what's the deal? By now, you've already got billions of money that you've looted from the country.
Right.
It's safely away in Swiss banks. So just say, listen, call the UN up and say, I tell you what, tomorrow I want a signed letter from all the guys at the UN. If I and my family move to Switzerland, you leave us alone, and I'll pack out of here.
And that would make sense, you'd think.
And you know what? The UN would sign. I mean, I would sign. Why not?
What?
Just leave. Please, guy, just leave. We want to try to bring this country. The poor people are in such a mess. And he would leave. Let him. What do I care? I don't need to torture the guy. You know why he sticks it out? 88 years old. What's he getting from it? You think he's at 88? He's enjoying all the girls, or
No.
all living the high life?
No.
At 88, you know what he has? Power.
He's got power and they want to get rid of it.
And therefore he says, you know why I'm me? Because I got power. I got to be a somebody because I got power. So many people. Or people that work for people that have power. I'm somebody because I'm working for him and he's got power, so I got power. A lot of people do that. There are other people that pursue sensual pleasures. I got to have fun. I'm having fun. I'm active. I'm on the go. Okay? I'm climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. I am alive. Me, I'm up here. Because why? Because it was there.
And I climbed it.
And I climbed it. So I'm alive. I'm standing on top of the thing. I am alive. Of course, when he gets back down, then he can always say, I'm alive because I climbed up there. Unless that starts to wear out, in which case now he's got to go to Antarctica.
Somewhere else, right?
Or, something like that, right? Got to do something else like equally crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But he can only find himself, when he's sitting there at home, with his wife and his kids, and they're eating dinner, God, I just don't feel like I'm alive. Where's the excitement?
Right.
How many soldiers come back from
true.
war, and bullets are flying around, and they were alive. Now the guy's at home, and he's working as an officer in the local branch office of his bank.
Right. It just doesn't do it. It's not there.
I'm dead. So you know what some people do? So they start looking for things to do. I got to get myself a speedboat. I got to get a faster car. I got to do this. I got to do that. Some people, they chase after women. Why do they chase after women? It's not even for the pleasure. It's because they know it's forbidden. And the excitement.
That's true.
The excitement of living on the edge. I could be caught at any moment gives their life a sense of life. All these are very pitiful. Now, then there's some other people that they see through all that. And they realize, either I've had the fame, I've had the power, I've had the fun, and it doesn't do it. Or, I'll never get the fame, I'll never get the power.
Right.
You know what they do? Let's open up a cold one.
Yeah, that's right. Sit
Now
back,
self-medicate.
have a drink, get a script.
Right.
You know what you got to do?
Just self-medicate.
That's it.
And, or I'll get involved with my addiction, and I can just live for that addiction, whatever it might be, which will totally distract me from whatever's going on.
The fact that maybe I'm not alive. Maybe I don't exist.
Don't really exist.
Yeah.
That is tough.
Yep.
Back to the Ten Commandments.
Right.
God says, I exist. If I don't exist, nothing exists, which means you are not going to find any other real existence. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. God says, I'm the only existence. You can try power, the idol of power. You can try the idol of fame. And you can try the idol of sensual pleasures. Or you can try all the various different herbs and spices that you can put inside your brain to put you into a stupor so you don't have to feel the pain of life. But the bottom line is, you are not going to find with any of those other idols, thou shalt have no other gods before me, you're not going to find real existence.
Wow. That's pretty clear.
But if you can connect up to real existence, then you really exist. Because if you're connected to real existence, then that must mean, by definition, I must exist because I have connection to existence. So if there is no real existence, then I've got no existence. No matter what I try, and everyone knows that, no matter what you try, it's just not going to do it. But if you can really connect up to existence, so God says, so here's the Torah. So now, you could be doing the Torah, or even not doing the Torah. If you're connected to God, you exist. That means I've got a guy, he's in solitary confinement in the gulag.
All right.
Little cell. He's got no food, he's got no nothing. No one can hear his voice. He's just in solitary. He has no impact on anyone or anything. He's connected to God, he's got existence.
He exists.
On the other hand, you could have a big holy guy, pious guy. You could have the rabbi is preaching to the synagogue. If the rabbi is looking for power,
Right.
or if the rabbi is looking for the approbation of the congregants, and he's going to feel good because now everyone thinks, oh, rabbi, that was such a great sermon. And he's thinking, yeah, wow, I exist because they think my sermon was good. Then he's an idolater, and he doesn't have good existence.
Wow.
You see, you could be doing everything, just putting on his tefillin and kissing the mezuzah, eating the matzah and doing everything, and he's an idolater. And the guy's sitting there in the gulag in solitary confinement with nothing, and he's got existence because he's connected to God.
Wow. That's deeper than I thought. I mean, it's a good point, though. I mean, that's without that, you can't really prove I guess you got to keep looking to validate your existence every day if you don't have it.
And everyone knows you're going to die, and no one knows what happens then. Of course, if you have existence with God and God's eternal, then, man, not only do I have existence now, I have existence forever and ever and ever.
Wow.
Above and beyond time. Because once I'm connected, I'm connected. Unless, of course, I do something really bad. And by the way, in the Torah, the nastiest punishment in the Torah, which is reserved for doing some really bad stuff, is called being cut off.
Cut off from your people. No.
What's that all about? Being cut off? What do you mean being cut off? Like, kill me. No, God says, no.
We're going to cut you
Kill?
off.
That's kid stuff. Because if you get killed, so then there's at least a dead body. That means you continue to have existence.
Right.
But to be cut off, you cut off. It's like, I pulled your plug, you're just gone. Hey, where was he? Not there anymore.
Not even there.
All of a sudden there's an empty chair. Wasn't there a guy sitting there? No. Never even heard of him.
That's bad.
Gone.
That's a bad one.
You don't exist. So it's really strange that the Torah has such a punishment. It's not even hell. Hell's okay.
Because at least you're there.
At least you're there. You're someplace.
Right.
It's an address. It's hell, but at least I'm there.
Not a good address, but all right.
If they can send you there, it's better than being nowhere. Nowhere is the worst. Nowhere, like you're done. You just delete.
So the question has been, before God created man, what existed? Just God?
Well, as it says in the Torah, the world was null and void, in darkness on the deep. And everyone asks the question, deep what? Like null, void, darkness? Yeah, null, void, darkness. Like nothing. Like what was the deep, right? So it says, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. But the waters, these are really some very deep concepts.
This is, yeah.
Right? It's very, very deep stuff. But the bottom line of all this is that we do believe that there was, before that, nothingness. And then people say, well, what was before that? It's just God. What was before God? God. See, God is an independent existence. It's really impossible for us to understand that because we are creatures.
Right.
So we can't understand the Creator. And by the way, as creatures, we have an innate drive to know the Creator.
Right. But I think also what would help people understand existence more is if they understood what non-existence is. And I think that's a tough one to figure out. What do you mean I exist? Well, what happens if I don't exist? Now you see why I had a problem with the Doritos last night. If I don't exist, what does that mean I don't exist? I understand dead. I mean, as best as I can. I understand.
That is very inactive.
Right. I mean,
but it's there. You're there, but you're just really inactive.
I think non-existence is a good case. So if God is creating us at every moment, every instant,
right?
If He stops creating, I mean, did you ever exist if He stops creating? Were you ever here?
No.
Never was here to begin with.
I mean, if you aren't, you aren't. As a matter of fact, this is really going to get deep. I'm not sure what was is.
And it was is a tough one there too.
Past, present, future. But you know what the people will say now? It says, well, listen, I always exist. This is what the contemporaries say. Because when I die, my body goes back into the ground. And I turn into the plants, and the cow eats the plants.
Right.
And there's the life cycle, and they go up into this gives off steam, and the steam becomes clouds, and clouds become rain, and rain becomes
Right,
and,
right.
And I have this like perpetual existence. Unless, of course, by the way, a person gets cremated.
Yeah, that's another problem too.
That's going to be really bad, because then he's not even going into the dirt to turn back into,
And that can really mess with you.
I can't really understand why a person who believes that like their whole existence is to just keep recycling would want to get cremated, unless the guy says, I don't care, so I won't have any existence. This, by the way, sadly enough, all roads lead us back to the same place. There are people, this goes into the self-medicating group,
Right.
who say, I get it. I don't exist. My existence is nothing. You don't exist. I'm going to show you that I don't exist. If I don't exist, I'll kill myself. And you know what? I want to show you that no one exists, not just me.
Take everybody,
It's not just me that doesn't exist. You all don't exist. You're fooling yourselves, and I hate you for fooling yourselves to exist, because I'm smart and I figured out I don't exist, and neither do you, and I hate you for fooling yourselves into thinking you exist. So watch this. I'm going to just take a gun, and I'm going to go to the thing that you think has the most existence, like your children.
Right,
I'm
right.
just going to kill them, because they don't exist anyway, and neither do I. And then he turns the gun on himself and he blows himself away.
And boom, it's all fixed, done.
Yeah.
Huh.
See,
Interesting.
I told you, there's no existence.
No existence.
And.
Well, you got that. Right, what's it? But then the question is, if for someone like so the fact that I know I'm going to get a little deep, it's the fact that we do exist, but if God, for whatever second stops, we don't exist. We never have exist. So does that mean, are we significant? Is there a significance to you, and is there a significance to me? I mean, we are literally being the same me was not here 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So was that significant? Because
So-
I'm a new guy right now.
So let's say God, who's the only real thing that has
Right.
existence, were to come to you and he were to say, I want to enter into a long-lasting relationship with you.
Okay.
How would you react to that?
Well, I don't know if I'm a me now. You got me so confused. I don't know who I am that I can even enter in this relationship. But
You go like,
well, it's a big thing.
wow.
The biggest one's me.
That's the best news I've ever heard. Do you mean to tell me that if I connect up with you, you will have me connect up with you, and you will give me eternal existence? And God says, yes.
I guess that's pretty good.
Happy day.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That is big news. So God comes and he says, I am Lord your God. You should have no other gods before me. Now, this is what I want you to do. If you do this. As a matter of fact, if you roll back the Ten Commandments, go to the chapter right before it.
Mm-hmm.
God says, he says, you know what, guys? I took you out of Egypt. I brought you here. There's a reason why I did that. The reason why I did that is I want to enter into a special relationship with you and make a covenant with you. And that's pretty good, because, the truth is, I could just have you not exist. But I am going to pledge, as it were, a pledge of your continued existence. But the only way, of course, you can do it is by becoming part of me.
Well,
And this is how you got to do it.
you say that, but then does that mean the person that's I'm not accepting this pledge, I'm not going to go by the Torah, I'm not going to live by the Torah, he still exists?
At that point,
Or does he? I mean,
at that point, God says, you got the delete button. Now, we have a rule. We say the righteous, even when they're dead, they're alive. And the wicked, even when they're alive, they're dead. What that means is the wicked don't exist, even when they exist, even when they're here, alive.
what does that mean they don't exist? Obviously, the kid comes into a school, kills a lot of people, he exists. He caused a lot of real,
That's
serious issues.
That's right. However, that existence doesn't really count. his existence. Now, it seems, it might look to me like he inflicted pain.
You know, some righteous people.
Yes, it might look like he inflicted pain, but he doesn't have real existence. And you know who does have existence? The people that were killed, they have existence for eternity. They're still alive.
That's a tough one.
They're alive. Now, it doesn't look like they're alive,
Right.
it looks like they're dead. But, you know, we all know that within about 100 years, everyone else who was alive at the time
That's true.
will have caught up with them.
Right, well, that's a good point.
And then where are they all going to be? Well, some of the people, after 100 years, will be also existing, just like those kids are, and some of the people won't be existing.
Well, so then since the Torah and the Ten Commandments were written for the Jews, what about everybody else?
Everyone else also has a avenue of finding existence. Everyone does. And even the animals do. And even the grass does. How do you find existence? By serving your purpose in the service of the divine. If I do what God says, I have existence. It might be animal existence, right? Whatever level. It might be human existence on whatever level. But as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, as God wills it, then my life has existence. I have meaning.
Meaning, wow. Interesting. It's a deep one. This one I think you got to take time to sit and think about. I mean, because especially when you're thinking about being created constantly. So obviously, I'm being created. I'm being created constantly this second for a reason. I was created last second for a reason, but I must still have a reason to be created now. It does give a little bit more.
Yes.
It must be, because if not, I wouldn't be recreated. So I guess
right.
there must be some kind of importance to my life here. That's
right.
probably the better way of looking at it.
That's right. And
or I wouldn't be recreated.
That's right. And since God especially recreates you with all the memories of what went on before, because this new creation, so let's say you did X, Y, and Z good thing, and you did X, Y, and Z bad thing. Okay? Well, let's say you did X, Y, and Z good thing and X, Y bad.
Right.
So you did a little bit more good than bad.
Okay.
That's what, you know, of course.
Make me feel better.
Right, good. You gotta
Right.
feel good.
Yep.
Gotta feel good about yourself. So God says, okay, I'm now going to create a new creature. This new creature is being created for the purpose of confronting such and such a challenge. However, this new creature that I'm going to create is going to be a creature that's going to have the following benefits, X, Y, and Z, good
Right.
deeds,
And
and the
XY.
following disabilities, you know, A and B, bad deeds. And now I'm going to create him, and we'll see what happens. And that's why God keeps recreating us, because every second it goes by, we're constantly in change. He's got to make a whole new me.
So does there get to a point when we've outlived our usefulness and we're not being created anymore?
Yeah, there's a great line in the beginning, in the chapter, in the book of in Genesis, early on. It's talking about the various generations, and it says there was a guy named Enoch, the generation of Enoch,
Right.
and it says Enoch went with God, and he wasn't, because God took him.
Right.
I mean, he wasn't. He wasn't. He went with God, and he wasn't, because God took him. Didn't say he died.
Right.
It says he wasn't.
It's true.
No, and he wasn't. What do you mean he wasn't? So God says, okay, you know, like you don't need to have a physical existence anymore. And sometimes God will decide. Sometimes God will decide you need to die. And then there'll be a thing with your body. You'll still have a certain measure of physical existence. They'll bury your body. You'll be kind of attached to this world, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you can be like Enoch, and he says, okay, enough of that. Just,
Enoch's
you're all
gone.
done.
Wow.
You're just done. Come up here. You know, you'll exist differently now. And, you know, they never had a funeral for Enoch. He
He's
wasn't.
just gone. Wow.
Wasn't Enoch just here? Yeah, gone.
Not anymore. Now, did everybody else remember Enoch, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
He was here, not
Right.
here.
So this is why I say, you know, holograms.
Right. Right, it
Holograms.
could be.
They just had someone, my son was telling me, they had a concert recently, and they had a dead guy
Yeah, I heard about that.
performed at the concert.
Yes,
Right.
it did.
Hologram.
Pretty good.
He's not here. He's here, he's not here, dead, alive. You know, it's a hologram.
Just a
You
hologram.
know, just as long as someone didn't trip over the cord.
Then he's still.
He's
Whoops,
still-
they did, but he's
Right.
gone. That was
Yeah,
it.
Great. New Orleans Super Bowl him.
Yeah, that's it. Just like that. Wow.
Okay.
All right, pretty intense. I got to tell you, this one's pretty intense. I think it's going to take a lot more thinking on this one because hopefully more discussion.
So
Wow.
next time someone said to you, do you believe in God? You know, you're probably going to go like, oh, That's a very intense question.
That's an intense question. But yes, I'm real quick. I'll answer you. Just
Right.
very fast. I'll say yes.
I believe, therefore I am.
Therefore I am. Oh, that's better. All right. Good conversation today. I like this conversation.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be back next week. Another great episode of Jeff and the Rabbi.
Okay.